The Empire thought humans were weak. They looked at Earth and saw a small blue planet at the edge of a quiet arm of the galaxy. To them, humanity looked simple, fragile, unimportant. A race that had no power, no great fleets, no long history of empire. To the Empire, Earth was nothing but a minor system. But the Empire also wanted control. And control always came with a price. One day, a message came. It was short, cold, and clear. The Empire gave Earth two choices: join them as slaves, or die as an example. The leaders of Earth, called the United Terran Assembly, did not reply. They sat in silence. Some wanted to fight, others wanted to talk, but in the end, they did nothing. The Empire saw that silence as weakness. And in the galaxy, weakness had only one punishment: extinction. The day Earth died, 12 dreadnoughts appeared above Earth. Ships the size of mountains, each carrying weapons strong enough to destroy continents. The Empire made sure the whole galaxy could watch. They wanted every species to see what happened to anyone who refused them. So, they turned the destruction of Earth into a show. The stream began with Earth shining below them. Oceans blue, continents green, clouds white and calm. A beautiful planet. A fragile planet. The Empire gave humanity one last chance to surrender. But Earth remained silent. The first strike came from orbit. A blast of energy so strong it boiled the Pacific Ocean in minutes. Cameras broadcast the screams of billions as coastal cities disappeared. Then came fire from above. Entire cities were turned into glass. New York, Shanghai, Lagos, London gone in seconds. People ran, but there was nowhere to go. One by one, the great cities of Earth burned. The Empire destroyed power plants, water systems, food stores. They broke the planet piece by piece. For 12 long hours, the galaxy watched as Earth died. By the end, 10 billion human lives had been erased. The ocean steamed. The cities burned. And the sky was nothing but smoke. The Empire closed the stream with a single message. Let this be a lesson. No one defies the Empire. And the galaxy cheered. The secret they did not know. The Empire believed they had won. They believed humanity was finished. But the Empire had made a mistake. A fatal one. They thought Earth was the home of all humanity. It was not. For over 100 years, humans had already spread across the stars. Quietly. Patiently. Building colonies on more than 1,700 worlds. They had built fleets, trained armies, and created weapons the galaxy had never seen. Earth was not humanity's heart anymore. Earth was a grave already waiting to happen. The leaders of the United Terran Assembly knew this. That was why they stayed silent. They had left Earth as bait. The response begins. When Earth burned, humanity did not beg for peace. They planned for revenge. The first strike was not a fleet, not a battle. It was hunger. Human scientists unleashed a series of biological plagues designed to attack the crops that fed the Empire's core systems. Entire food networks collapsed in days. Planets full of billions began to starve. Next came silence. Human hackers released AI viruses into the Empire's networks. Warships lost control. Fleets disappeared in the middle of warp jumps, never to be seen again. Empire defenses went dark. Then came fire. Human fleets, built in secret for decades, arrived at Empire worlds. Not to conquer, but to erase. World after world fell. Cities that had cheered during Earth's destruction were turned to ash. Colonies that had voted for Earth's cleansing were wiped from the stars. The Empire begged for talks. They tried to sue for peace. But humanity remembered the live stream. Humanity remembered the laughter. And so, they gave no mercy. The birth of monsters. In only a few years, the Empire was broken. Entire species were gone. The galaxy that once cheered for Earth's death now whispered in fear of humanity's name. Humans did not just fight. They hunted. They destroyed. They became what the galaxy feared most. Monsters. This was only the beginning. Because once Earth was gone, humanity had nothing left to lose. And a species with nothing left to lose cannot be stopped. The Empire thought they had destroyed humanity. But what they had really done was something far worse. They had created a monster that would never rest, never forgive, and never forget. And for the first time in history, the galaxy learned what it meant to fear. The Empire had ruled for more than 3,000 years. They believed themselves eternal, unbreakable, unstoppable. No one in the galaxy had ever dared to rise against them. No one had ever even dreamed of it. Their fleets were countless, their armies endless, their rule unshaken. Until Earth. Until humans. The Silent War. The first months after Earth's destruction seemed almost quiet. The galaxy thought humanity had been erased, that the blue planet was the end of the story. But then, the lights began to go out. On the outer worlds of the Empire, food transports stopped arriving. Massive storage stations went dark. Crops died in fields, blackened by human-designed plagues. Billions began to starve. The Empire sent fleets to investigate. Those fleets never returned. Whispers began to spread, ships were vanishing in warp. Colonies were cut off. Communication lines were filled with static. At first, the galaxy thought these were accidents. But soon, it became clear this was war. A war like nothing they had ever faced. The Fall of Worlds. The first human fleet struck the world of Kal-Shar, a major empire colony that had celebrated Earth's destruction. The humans did not ask for surrender. They did not negotiate. They came with fire. Orbital strikes shattered the planet's cities. Bombs burned the land until nothing grew. The survivors were left to starve in the ruins. The next target was even worse. On Veyron Prime, home to 40 billion citizens, humans used a new weapon, silence. They dropped a virus into the planet's networks, shutting down power grids, water supplies, and medical systems. Within days, chaos erupted. Within weeks, billions were dead without a single shot fired. The message was clear. Every world that had cheered when Earth burned would now burn itself. The Empire tries to fight. The Empire was vast, but it was old. Its fleets were mighty, but they were slow. Its armies were huge, but they were used to crushing weak rebels, not fighting an enemy that struck from the shadows. The humans did not fight like anyone else. They attacked supply lines instead of armies. They destroyed fuel stations instead of fleets. They crippled communications, leaving worlds cut off and afraid. And when they did fight directly, they were merciless. One human dreadnought could match 3 Imperial warships. Human soldiers, trained on dozens of worlds, fought with a fury the Empire had never seen. The Empire tried to respond with terror. They executed their own governors, burned their own colonies, demanded loyalty through fear. But fear no longer worked. Because fear now belonged to the humans. The Empire begs. As the years passed, the Empire collapsed piece by piece. Whole sectors rebelled. Some begged humanity for mercy. Some even tried to switch sides. But humanity gave no mercy. They remembered the stream. They remembered the cheers. On the day the Empire finally begged for peace, humanity responded with silence. And then they unleashed fire on the Empire's capital itself. The once great jewel of the galaxy burned until nothing remained but ash. Humanity becomes the monster. When the war was over, only 17% of the Empire's population was still alive. Entire species were gone. Entire planets were dead. The galaxy looked at humanity not as victims, not even as survivors, but as monsters. But humans did not care. They had not fought for power. They had not fought for conquest. They had fought for vengeance. And vengeance had been taken. What came after was worse. Because with the empire gone, there was no longer a balance. No longer a force strong enough to hold humanity back. And humanity did not rebuild what they had destroyed. They left the ruins as reminders. Monuments of glass. Graveyards across the stars. The grave of Earth. Earth itself was never rebuilt. The humans returned to the ruined planet only once, years after the war. They looked upon the burned oceans and shattered cities. They did not plant new life. They did not build new homes. Instead, they sealed the planet. Earth became a grave. A monument to the 10 billion lives lost. A message carved into stone and glass. This is what happens when you kill humanity. The new myth. Across the galaxy, children grew up hearing whispers of humanity. They were not told as heroes. They were not told as saviors. They were told as a warning. Do not cross them. Do not anger them. Do not forget what they did. The Empire thought it could scare humanity into obedience. Instead, it created the one thing the galaxy would never forget. A species that forgives nothing. A species that fears nothing. A species with nothing left to lose. And that species had a new name across the stars. Not humans. Not Terrans. But monsters. The war was over. The Empire was gone. Its fleets shattered, its world silent, its people scattered like dust. But the end of the Empire was not the end of fear. Because humanity remained. The new order. There was no great ceremony. No flag raised above a conquered capital. Humanity did not crown itself the new rulers of the galaxy. They did not need to. Power was not taken by speeches or laws. It was taken by fear. Every world that survived remembered the stream of Earth's destruction. They remembered cheering as billions died. They remembered the silence that followed. And then, they remembered fire raining down upon them. No one wanted to stand against humanity again. So, without a single treaty, without a single announcement, the galaxy began to obey. Not because humanity ruled, but because humanity could destroy. The silent throne. On human colonies, life went on. People built, traded, raised children, and dreamed of futures among the stars. But beyond those colonies, the galaxy walked on glass. No alien government dared to challenge humans. No species dared to attack. Some tried to trade, sending envoys with gifts. Some tried to beg forgiveness, offering tribute. Others simply kept silent, hoping humanity would forget them. But humanity never forgot. And when a world slipped, when whispers of rebellion appeared, when anyone dared to test them, humans did not send warnings. They sent fleets. And those fleets left nothing behind but ruins. The grave keepers. Though humans spread across the stars, Earth remained untouched. The burned planet was guarded by fleets, protected by a ring of stations. No alien was allowed near. They called themselves the grave keepers. Every human child, no matter where they were born, was brought once in their life to see Earth. To look upon the burned oceans, the shattered cities, the glass deserts where billions had once lived. It was not for sorrow. It was for memory. So that no human would ever forget what was taken from them. And so that no human would ever forgive the galaxy for allowing it. Fear becomes legend. Centuries passed. The galaxy changed. Species rose and fell. Worlds were born and lost. But humanity remained. They did not expand endlessly. They did not try to rule everything. Instead, they waited. They built. They watched. And their legend grew. In schools across the galaxy, alien children whispered the same stories. If you cross them, they will erase your world. If you cheer when they suffer, they will never forget. If you kill one of them, they will kill all of you. The stories were simple, brutal, true. Humans did not need to shout their power. The galaxy shouted it for them. The broken survivors. Some species still lived, broken by war but not erased. The survivors of the Empire lived in scattered colonies, hiding in the shadows of their once great worlds. They feared humans most of all. When they looked upon their ruins, they knew one truth: the Empire had killed 10 billion humans on live stream. And humanity had answered by killing trillions. For every human life lost, 100 alien lives had been erased. It was not war. It was judgment. Humanity's choice. But humanity had a choice. They could rebuild what was destroyed. They could become rulers of the galaxy, shaping a new age of order. Or they could remain what they had become: shadows, monsters, a warning written in fire. And humanity chose the latter. They built no empire. They raised no throne. They chose to be fear itself. Because fear could not be destroyed. Fear could not be challenged. And fear was the only language the galaxy seemed to understand. The myth of the monsters. As centuries turned to millennia, stories of the Empire's fall became myth. But the myth always ended the same way. With Earth burning. With 10 billion dead. And with humanity rising from the ashes, turning vengeance into genocide, and teaching the galaxy the price of cruelty. Some species whispered prayers before saying the word human. Others told their children never to look a human in the eye. And when alien rulers met in secret, they never asked if humanity might return. They only asked when. The truth that remained. The Empire killed 10 billion humans on live stream. The galaxy had cheered. And humanity had answered by burning the galaxy until nothing remained but silence and ash. That truth could never be erased. Because the grave of Earth still waited. Silent. Cold. Guarded by fleets. And every child who looked upon it knew the same thing. Humanity forgives nothing. Humanity forgets nothing. And if the galaxy ever dares to test them again, humanity will become monsters once more. 8,000 years passed. The ruins of the Empire turned to dust. Its broken colonies became nameless rocks, forgotten by most. New civilizations rose in the galaxy, young and eager, unaware of the past. But one thing did not fade. The memory of humans. The galaxy without an empire. With the empire gone, no single ruler held the stars together. Dozens of smaller powers grew. Some built alliances. Some built fleets. Some dreamed of becoming the new empire. But none of them dared to touch human space. Maps of the galaxy showed a wide circle of systems marked in red. No trade routes crossed it. No colonies were built near it. It was a dead zone. The humans lived inside it. Quiet. Watching. Waiting. And no one was foolish enough to enter. The fear that never died. For most species, the story of Earth's burning was just a tale, a lesson told to children. But the fear was still there. On market worlds, aliens whispered when a human walked by. On border stations, ships fell silent when a human fleet appeared. Even the bravest captains avoided human patrols. Even the most powerful leaders avoided saying their name aloud. Because everyone knew what the humans had done. And everyone knew what they could do again. The worship of monsters. Strangely, some did not fear humanity. Some worshipped them. On distant worlds, cults formed. They called humans the fire from the stars. They claimed the burning of the empire was not vengeance, but divine punishment. They carved statues of humans in armor. They sang songs about Earth, the dead world that birthed gods of war. To these cults, humans were not monsters. They were judges. They were angels of death. And when a human ship passed through their systems, they bowed their heads and prayed. The forgotten children. Yet not all species hated humanity. Some remembered a different side. There were alien children who had been fed by human aid fleets after their planets collapsed. There were broken colonies that had been spared, not burned. Those survivors whispered a different story. They said humanity was cruel only to the cruel. That vengeance was not blind, but sharp, like a blade. And so, some grew loyal. Some even joined human colonies, raising children with human neighbors, swearing their lives to the grave keepers. To them, humanity was not a monster. It was a shield. The grave still waited. Earth remained the heart of it all. For 1,000 years, no alien set foot on its surface. Human fleets circled the dead planet like eternal guardians. The grave keepers kept their watch. And every human child still came once in their life to look upon the ruins. To see the glass deserts, the blackened oceans, the towers of ash. It was the one lesson no child could escape. That the galaxy had killed 10 billion of their people. And that the galaxy had paid. The return of fear. Then came a new age. A young alliance of alien powers, born long after the Empire's fall, began to grow strong. They looked at human space and saw emptiness. They saw worlds waiting to be taken, resources waiting to be claimed. And they began to whisper. Perhaps the humans are gone. Perhaps the stories are only myths. For years, they tested the borders. Small raids. Hidden scouts. Quiet probes. At first, nothing happened. The galaxy began to believe the humans were no longer watching. Until one night, the stars lit up again. A fleet appeared. Silent. Black. Terran dreadnoughts older than any living species, still powerful, still waiting. And in one day, the new alliance was gone. Their colonies burned. Their leaders vanished. Their fleets shattered. The galaxy learned the same lesson all over again. Humanity had never left. Humanity had only been waiting. The endless lesson. 10 billion dead on Earth. Trillions dead across the stars. And still, the story continued. Because humanity did not forgive. Humanity did not forget. Every time the galaxy grew bold, every time a new power believed the humans were weak, the answer was the same. Fire. Silence. Ash. The legend of the grave. In the farthest corners of the galaxy, among the youngest species, there were those who had never seen a human. To them, humans were not real. They were myths. But when those young species asked their elders, the answer was always the same. Do not seek them. Do not test them. Do not forget the grave. And when those young ones asked, what is the grave, the answer was whispered with fear. The grave is Earth. The world the Empire burned. The world that birthed monsters. The world that waits in silence, guarded by those who never forgive. The endless shadow. 1,000 years had passed. 1,000 more would come. But the shadow of humanity never faded. Some saw them as monsters. Some saw them as gods. But all knew one truth. The Empire killed 10 billion humans on live stream. And the galaxy was still paying for it. 10,000 years passed. The galaxy was no longer the same. The ruins of the Empire had turned to dust. New species had risen, built their own empires, and fallen again. Stars had been born and stars had died. But one thing had never changed. The shadow of humanity. The forgotten name. For most, the word human was no longer common. Many species had never seen one. Most believed they were gone, erased by time like all other powers. In schools, the story of Earth was told like a fairy tale. A dead world. A burning sky. A people who had once turned grief into fire. Some laughed at the story. Some said it was impossible. How could one species kill trillions? How could one small world destroy an empire? The young did not believe. But the elders never left. They remembered the new powers. By now, the galaxy was filled with new rulers. Mighty coalitions, federations, and dynasties spread across thousands of worlds. They looked at the silent zone of human space and saw nothing but stars. No signals. No trade. No life. Many believed the humans were long dead. 10,000 years is too long, they said. No species lasts forever. They are gone. The grave is only dust now. And with that belief came greed. The new powers wanted the resources. The untouched systems. The ancient ruins of human stations. And so, they began to cross the border. The sleeping monster. At first, nothing happened. The new powers landed colonies on old human space. They mined asteroids. They studied ruins. For years, there was silence. The galaxy grew bold. Explorers dug into human stations and found them empty. Fleets flew through the red mark systems without resistance. Some declared humanity extinct. Others declared them a myth. The story of the burning Earth became nothing more than legend. The awakening. Then one day, a probe landed on Earth. The dead planet. The grave. It sent images of glass deserts, black oceans, and towers of ash. The explorers laughed. See? Nothing lives here. It is only a tomb. The images streamed across the galaxy. Billions watched. Billions cheered. And then, for the first time in 10,000 years, the sky above Earth lit up. The gravekeepers woke. Human fleets rose from silent stations buried under the planet's crust. Dreadnoughts, black as night, powered up their engines. Weapons that had slept for ages burned once more. The probe signal went dark. And the galaxy remembered. The return of fire. It began with the new colonies. Every settlement built on human space vanished overnight. Entire fleets disappeared without a trace. Then the borders burned. Human ships, faster and stronger than anything the galaxy had ever seen, cut through defenses like paper. Planets screamed for mercy. But there was none. Because mercy had died with Earth. The endless lesson. 10,000 years had passed. Generations had lived and died. Civilizations had risen and fallen. But humanity had not forgotten. They had waited in silence, hidden in their grave, watching the galaxy grow bold again. And when the galaxy laughed, when the galaxy said they are gone, humanity answered the only way they knew. With fire. With silence. With ash. The gods of vengeance. Now, the galaxy no longer spoke of humans as a species. They spoke of them as gods. Not kind gods. Not merciful gods. But gods of vengeance. Gods of fire. Gods who had once lost everything and had taught the stars what it meant to pay. To some, they were demons. To others, they were saviors. But to all, they were real. And they would never die. The final truth. The Empire killed 10 billion humans on live stream. The galaxy had cheered. And for 10,000 years, the galaxy paid the price. No one knew how long humanity would last. No one knew if they could ever be stopped. But everyone knew one truth. Humanity forgives nothing. Humanity forgets nothing. And as long as the grave still waits, guarded in silence, the galaxy will never be free. Because humanity does not end. Humanity waits. And when the stars grow bold, humanity rises again.